back to the third and final segment of NTV Exclusive on this Friday night. I'm your host, Abul Hasnath. I've got the final segment with this great future for Bangladeshis is the way on. I don't want to say initiative, because initiative sounds like a tiny idea, but really we're looking at a project that's out there to create the next Bill Gates, to, you know, take Facebook over, I don't know, maybe give it a Bengali touch to Mukboy, I don't know. So that's what we want, and that's what we're relying on you guys, big pressure on you guys, because we just don't want these kids to learn anything small. We want big pressure. But to be honest, let's now give some recognition to the partners here, because in addition to London Borough of Tower Hamlets, Queen Mary and Westfield University. Yeah. Wow, QMW. They've tell us what their involvement is with you.
Well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I'll.
It's exclusive. This is exclusive. Give us away exclusivity. What's going to go on with them?
So the last segments, you saw a video clip. We did our program in the farm, Stepney City Farm, but our next session is going to be held at the Queen Mary University. So I'm working with some of the professors, a few lecturers, and a few PhD students who are putting together a program for the young people. So that's one of the next partnership work that we're going to do. So, and I think on the first segment of the video we were at East London University.
UEL. Right.
So they had a tech show where young people were invited to just go and see what was going on, because East London's quite big on invention, and they've got a new tech building going up as well. So we're trying to partner up with many tech organisations as we can. And the whole idea is that within Tower Hamlets, or within the wider borough, we want to create a community of tech, young tech people. So not just the group of Inventors Club. I want to have all the youth centres within Tower Hamlets to have something. So we can come in and go, you know what, we want to start up something here. So if you imagine we have 10 or 20 different groups of young people. At the end of the year, we have a competition. We have a fair where they can show off their stuff, whether it's an idea, whether it's a design, whether it's an invention, but they're front of a lot of people, and they get to show off the bits and pieces, and that's how they will learn, and how they look forward to it, if you know what I mean.
It almost sounds like it's an induction to these kids with their great inventions to go and stand in front of a bunch of dragons.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the other things that we do, part of the program, is we have a barrister, right, who's part of the team. Her name's Shahida, and we do show and tell end of the session. So they learn something, and then they get up and they say, this is what I've learned, this is how you code, and this is the result. And she teaches them how to present. And as you know, barristers they're the top presenters.
They've got to get a case forward.
Exactly. So she teaches them how to present in front.
How to present their case.
Present the case in front of everyone. So that's one of the team member, and there's a few others. I'll come on to them. But the whole idea of doing the session in the farm was to get the kids out of the IT suites.
Right. So actually bring them back to the real world.
Yeah. So you know, when you talk about coding and IT, you think geeks just sitting in front of a computer all day. No, it shouldn't be like that. They should, like learn about the environment, the animals and all of that. The idea was they go and they see the surrounding, they come back and draw something from there, and then they draw that on a piece of paper and then transfer that into coding. So they learn something from the environment, basically.
Wow, it's a 3-part learning. So, first programming it, getting the drawing out, and then having to come back to the real world and present it.
Present it as well.
And it was really good, because every child had to present, and they presented in front of about, I don't know, 70 to 100 people, however many people there were, and each child was, looking at the crowd. You had the Mayor of Tower Hamlets and other dignitaries who came up, and I think it was an amazing sense of achievement for them, especially a child of, between 6 to 12 or 13. They're all standing up in front of the stage, and I think that, Shahida did a fantastic job of training them up to be able to present in front of that audience.
20 kids she's trained up, and they've all done a marvellous job.
Yeah. So
could you get me in for a session as well? I think I'm doing a bad job here, so I need it.
We also covered, in that session, we covered IoT.
Yeah.
which is the next big thing, which is Internet of Things,
Right.
which is connected stuff. So your lights, your TV, your watch. So you can say a command, say, "Oh, lights on," the lights come on. It's already happening now. So this is a new buzzword now, the Internet of Things. So we've learned about that, and we've also introduced them to VR, virtual reality.
And we saw some of the kids actually using the Samsung and HTC VRs.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
So the idea behind it was that the VR is going to be really, really big. Sony is coming out with a VR, or they've already come out with this Sony VR unit.
Yeah.
So it's going to lift off, but to give them experience what it is, and then for them to find out what it was, and maybe they go into that side of how you develop VR. And one of the projects that we were looking into was, say my mum's never been to a synagogue or a church. If we were to film it in 360 and bring it to her, she puts a goggle on and sees what a church looks like, or a person, or a non-Muslim person sees what a mosque looks like. What's inside of the mosque? They put the thing in and they can look around and see what it is.
See absolutely everything they want.
So as
on that note, I mean, I can tell you that all the major media organizations are investing a lot of money in this technology. So this really is going to take off seriously.
What's really driven them towards it, though?
Because that's what people want. That's the future. Generally, I mean, that's one of the reasons Google and other major companies are investing a huge amount of investment in this area, because let's face it, I mean, there is a lot of benefit. You can see another part of the world, you can communicate, you can play games, you can even work. What's stopping you from doing your work in a virtual reality environment? So you're working from home, but you feel like you're in the office with your colleagues.
I'm going to home in on my question there, actually, because it's an interesting one. Because yes, VR, brilliant, brilliant. At your own peril, at your own will, rotate yourself, pivot yourself to see whatever you want. But that's really got me now. If the world of media and the world of news latches onto this, I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, how are they planning to project VR into the world of news and actually get news across to the general public?
I'll give you an example. There was a video we saw of the French jungle. Where the refugees are.
Oh, the Calais wall that they're erecting.
We saw a video where someone made the video, and you kind of when you put that goggle on, you're in there, you're in that environment, you're kind of feeling it almost that you're there. So that's the kind of, I mean, going back to news and that, I guess they want to put you in.
So know what these refugees are going through. This is the environment they're in.
This is the environment they're in. Or if they're in, like some other country, Palestine or whatever. To put someone in that environment and for them to look around and go, and it's a different feeling, So
it takes that next level of sympathy to empathy for that matter,
because it gives you a sense of your spatial awareness. So, for example, Guardian did a piece on solitary confinement in the US, and they had a VR. They used VR to demonstrate that. So they had a cubicle. And it was 2 meters by 4 meters, and you put on a VR headset and you see where your bed is and where your toilet is. And these guys were living there for 20 years, solitary confinement. And when you go in, you actually realize how claustrophobic it is, because there's one thing reading about it, and another thing putting this on and immersing yourself into this environment. You realize, oh, that's you realize that's how far you are. You can touch end to end. So it gives you a real spatial awareness of how it is, and you almost, when you walk through, you might hit your head on the door or something. So it gives you that.
It's amazing you say that, because you've read my mind. I was literally thinking that, and I can't believe I've led you down that, because I was thinking, media, when we've got, let's just take the Inventors Club. We'll come back to that in a moment. But when we take crime. The first thing I always look at, instead of punishment, deterrent, and to actually show our youngsters that this is what it's like inside a prison. You really want to. This is marvelous, isn't it?
But these are the environments that, or the CGI or the environment that kids can go onto, building or mapping out and coming back. So the education side of it, or there's one thing, you know, like you getting your phone out and pressing a button and going to an app and seeing it work. The other thing is, how does it work? Do you ever question how an app works?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. So we're trying to get our young kids to go, okay, you press a button, where does it go? How does it happen? How does it get the information? Can you do that? Can you build an app? So one of the other sessions we're going to work on is how to build an app as well. So
you're giving it all away today, aren't you?
on a basic level, we're going to teach our kids how to build an app as well. But the future plan is that we have not just what we're teaching, you know, our 20 or 30 kids, that we have all other, you know, many satellite Inventors Club within Tower Hamlets and outside the borough. And end of the year we have a competition or show. They come and show the invention.
They compete
or the
against each
design,
other.
Compete against each other, and it gives a bigger platform for the kids. Because everyone likes to show off. You know, I like to show off, right? With some of the stuff that I've done, and they would love to show it off as well. And you know,
I always say to all of my guests that come on the show, I mean, you guys come up with such marvelous ideas that my 1 hour that I have with you guys never does justice, because we never seem to address everything. I don't want, we've got a few minutes, and what I don't want to miss out on is the likes of you guys, plus everybody else that's helped out. I mean, if you can, just name me some of the people that have helped this get up and running, and I think they deserve the recognition. So thank you.
So Mohima, she developed her app when she was, I don't know, 13, 14.
Wow. Okay.
She's at Imperial College studying biotech. She's part of the group. Shahida, she's a barrister, stroke presenter. Anjum, he works for Hive, you know, the British gas company. So he's a product designer. Afazul is a finance guy. Shakila, she's the coordinator. She actually puts the, you know, every time something happens or needs to happen, she's there. So she's coordinating everything. Who else? Faiza, she's currently studying education at the university. And I think we're going to get her to do a dissertation on our Inventors Club.
Brilliant.
Toj, you know, he comes in every week, you know, and you know what, I'm thinking about a role for him.
Brilliant.
And all the parents, I think, because they bring the kids and.
Well, the chap with the VR stuff, he like.
Oh, I don't know the name. I don't like him. Lewis, right? Lewis, one of my best friends.
Oh, okay.
All right. He is, you know, he's a virtual reality guy. He knows everything about, you know, like VR stuff, and he's really interested. And he wants to do those projects where we can go into mosque, synagogue, and church and map those out, and then. You know,
and everyone's providing their own time. No one's getting paid for it.
Yeah, of course.
And so this guy Lewis, he's, you know, this kit he brings out is very heavy, and you know, it takes time to set it up, and then he's giving the opportunities for the children to have a go and learn about it. So yeah, I mean, without these people, this wouldn't have been possible. It wouldn't have been as good either.
Yeah.
So yeah, every single person he's mentioned is doing a fantastic job.
Hopefully, from everything you guys have said, and you're giving your own time, I'm hoping there's probably Bangladeshi businesses out there, or even local towns businesses out there that will probably come and, you know, want to show some interest, and maybe want to get involved in one shape or form, even financial. Why not, guys? You know, this is a good initiative. Listen, I'm completely out of time, so thank you so much, Aki Quay, for coming in. Tazbay, thank you so much. It was great to have you guys. And as I say, there is never enough justice done. And this is what I've introduced to you exclusively today is potentially the guys that have guided, that have nurtured, that have put together what we may see as the future Bill Gates or future Facebook runners, WhatsApp runners of the UK. And what not better to come maybe from a British Bangladeshi, at least from a Tower Hamlets resident. And as these guys have said, we're not that far from the valley, which I keep forgetting the name of. So listen, that's all I've got time for. I've got to wrap it all up now. I hope you've enjoyed this show. Any comments you have, you can catch these guys on Facebook. Otherwise, and it's also going to be uploaded on YouTube. If you're following me on Facebook, I'll be putting that YouTube link up as well. Otherwise, you can email me, hasnath@ntveurope.net. Any questions you have on this. I've got to go. Next Friday, I've got another guest, a really important guest. It's taking movies to another level. I might have him, or since the US election isn't too far away, I might have some British US people to come across and talk about Trump and Clinton. Until then, I'll see you next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.